Time for, we're going to have the Planning and Zoning Commission in order now. We're going to start by having the invocation. Would y'all please stand? Deborah, would you please?
Oh, dear Heavenly and gracious Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here this afternoon. We appreciate, Lord Jesus, what our city is trying to do for the whole city. And we want you to help us, Lord Jesus, to make the right choice that not just benefit the city, but for all the citizens as well, Lord Jesus. Guide our minds, Lord Jesus. Guide our hearts, Father, and help us do what is pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Will you please remain standing? We're going to do something different today. We're going to have the pledge to allegiance and then the Texas. To your, or my left. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. You know the Texas one, ma'am? I do not know the Texas.
I do.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. I'll be seated. For the next one, I will remember that one. Okay. Before we get started today, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to anything that's not on the agenda tonight? That's not on the agenda, anything? We have any visitors? Nothing? Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Second thing, fifth thing on the agenda is the adoptions of last month's meetings. Have you had, commissioners, have you had a chance to look at those? Do I have a motion on the floor, please, ma'am?
I move that we approve the minutes from September 28, 2023.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the minutes from September 28, 2023. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved. Okay. Item 6.1. We're going to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change from single-family residential 7.1 and SF-7.1 to a neighborhood service NS. Property is located at the southeast corner FM 148 and West End Street, Lot 2, Part 1A, Block 1 on .361 acres, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, ZC 23-08. Yes, ma'am. Can you
See if my clicker
elaborate
will
on
work
this for
here.
us?
Okay, maybe not. My apologies. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. Before you, we have a public hearing to receive comments regarding a zone change. This might look a little bit familiar. It did go before you back in May of this year, so you have seen this item. I will preface with 6.1 and 6.2 are connected. They are the same applicant. However, they are two separate voting items, so we will consider each one individually. The property is located, let me put up a map here, on the southeast corner of West End Street and FM 148. The red square on your screen is what we are talking about today. Nothing really has changed since the last time. I'll still go over it for those of you. The zoning on the next page, you'll be able to see that that whole area, that whole block is zoned single-family 7.5. The remaining property to the north and to the west is zoned for light industrial. There is a neighborhood services at the bottom of the screen, just one street down, that is currently zoned. That lot is also vacant. There were 5 letters that were sent out to property owners, and the future land use map on the next page does call for this area to be local commercial. Now, because of that, staff is recommending approval of the requested zone change from a single-family residential use to a neighboring services use. I will also point out that the last vote, when you guys voted in May, the vote did pass with a 5-2 vote, and I also have those minutes if you would like to see them. And the pieces of paper that I handed out to you guys. I want to go over that as well. This was something that was brought up the last time we voted about this piece of property. As you know, there are improvements that are going out on 80, 205, and 148. On the first little map here that you can see, looks like this. That yellow line is going to be where that median is, and the little red square is going to be the property in question. On the second page, if you turn it vertical like this, you can see where that median is, where the red square, and you see that median is going to go down well past Mellon Street. So what that is going to do for this property here is that if you are going out onto 148, where the site plan indicates that they're going to have an entrance there, you are only going to be able to make a right-hand turn. You're not going to be able to make a left because of that median. Okay? I just want to point that out, and I'll be happy to answer questions after the public hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I'm open to public hearing now. Do we have anybody in favor of this that wants to speak? Anybody in favor of it? Okay. Please come forward, state your name.
My name is Val Gutierrez. I'm the general contractor for this project, and we are anxious to get started. I know that previously y'all had accepted it, and we had a little problem with the city council, but we're prepared to carry it through this time to where we get the permit. And this is going to be, I think you have a sheet that shows what the building will look like. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. It's going to be a beautiful building with the Chevron logo on the front for the canopy and the gas pumps. So we're going to be set to go. And we'd like for you to vote in favor of our proposal so that we can get started. Any questions?
You have a question for the gentleman? Are we allowed to ask questions? No, we're going to wait for the, all right, thank you, ma'am. All right, thank you, sir. Anybody else? No? Okay. Is there anyone here to speak not in favor of this item? Okay. Please step forward, one at a time, please. Please state your name and your address, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. My name is Zamberlin McNutt, and my address, I'm here representing 3 different entities. The property at 133 Mellon, which is the New Mount Calvary Baptist Church, and also the home I live presently with my mother at 119 Mellon Street, and my own individual home that I own at 121 Mellon Street. I'm speaking on behalf of our residential neighborhood. It is our hope and desire to keep this area a residential neighborhood. We have new homes that have just recently come up in the last year and even just recently in the last 6 months in that area with developers bringing in home. We have children there. It's a nice family environment. We're very close neighbors and everything. We don't want to see our neighborhood go into a commercial type store and those type things to happen. There's a lot of safety issues involved with that particular block. We've seen many accidents to occur, and I know the medium may help to prevent some of that, but also what's going to happen then, it means that in order for individuals to reach that location, they're going to have to come down our residential streets. So it's going to put a lot of traffic, not only on West End, but also on Mellon Street and on Towty Road in that area. We walk those neighborhoods. Our children play and ride their bicycles in those neighborhoods. We just don't want to see that traffic coming through there. And I will also say, on behalf of my neighborhood and my other neighbors, we're constantly picking up trash in that area. Cans that people already come and distribute, a lot of cans and sacks and those things. With the increased traffic that comes in there, it's going to be even worse what we have right now, as well as the fact that we have a low crime in that area, and we think bringing in a store in that location is going to increase unwanted individuals into that neighborhood, not only for our homes, but especially for our church. We haven't had any recent break-ins, but who's to say individuals come, eyeball, there's a church there, thinking they can break in, get money or what have you. We just don't want that to happen in our neighborhood. As well as our church, this property, actually, this particular property and the 2 lots adjacent to it were once properties that belonged to church members that went to our church. And as those members died, it was their hope at one time that this would become, they were going to leave it for the church, but their family members got that property and have since sold that property. It is still our desire at some point in time to possibly purchase and get that property back, because our church has plans already in motion and looking at for future building. We have architectural designs and everything that would include and expand our church property and activities there, possible recreational center and stuff at our church, and this would not be conducive, having this block to be a gas station as well as some stores or lots there. The final thing I'd like to bring forward to the attention of the committee here is I investigated and looked at, and I'm not an expert on the feet or the footage or what have you, but there is an ordinance in the city that this possibly could be in violation of, that says that the sale of alcoholic beverages, which I would think a gas station, convenience store would probably sell beer or liquor there, that the sale of alcoholic beverages near a church, public hospital, public schools, and other educational institutions or whatever, is unlawful for it to be sold or engage in any of that type of business of selling alcoholic beverages within the city where there's a place within 300 feet of the church. And so this is a right adjacent property line to our property line. So I think we're well within shorter than the 300 feet. And I know it talks about from front door to front door. Our doors may be opposite, but our back doors would be very close, adjacent. So that's a concern as well as maybe possibly violation, because it says the sale of alcohol in a residential area is prohibited. Yes, that lot may be zoned for commercial or neighborhood use or whatever it may be, but you're right adjacent to a residential, and this is our residential neighborhood. So we're not in favor of this moving forward.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Once again, thank you for that information. Is there anyone else? Please state your name
Mary Ann Hall,
and your address, please, ma'am.
112 Hawkins Street.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's my resident. I'm not very familiar in terms of everything I need to know here, but I am not in favor of it being turned into a commercial zone. I would like to keep it residential, just like it is now. I'm in agreement with what the young lady before me just previously said. We do not need gas stations, stores, alcohol, where they sell alcohol near our church. We have a church there at 1018 West End Street. So just in short, I am not in favor of this. Thank you.
Ma'am. Appreciate your time. Do we have anybody else in, yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address.
Along with what Ms. McNutt said, I do live in that area. I'm against a convenience store, a gas station, because I have grandchildren that lives on that street. There's other children on that street, and I don't think it would be safe for them.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
With the burglarism going on and, stuff going on, I don't think it would be a good idea.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for your time. Anybody else not in favor of this? If you can't, let's finish this up first, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, sir? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Harry Emmett. My address is 1406 South Midori Street.
Thanks, sir.
And my church also is located on 133 Mellon Street. And the property, speaking of, right there, direct behind our church. We bring so much stuff that we don't need there. So therefore, it'd be ungodly, you ask me. I work at the convenience store here in Terrell, and I see so much stuff to go on with that. I see people come in, they be peddling, but they run them off at the store, they be buying customers. People come around for no good stuff. They come in our parking lot trying to make drug deals. They park in the back of the church at nighttime trying to make out in cars and stuff. And they come out also, they dump trash by the dumpsters. because they can't get to it, leave all this stuff corrupting around our store. So I wouldn't think it'd be a good idea, so I would go against it, because I saw so much stuff, because this stuff like it's right happening. It wouldn't be a good idea.
I'm sorry, sir. You say your property faces west end?
It's in the back of the church, our church.
Okay.
You're on 133 Mellon Street.
Okay, Mountain Street. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Do we have anybody else that wish to come forward? No? Okay. Sir, if you want, you said you had a question. I'll give it a minute or so. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Did you have something to say, sir? Yes, sir. I'll give you a
I
minute.
just want to
Just give me 2
explain
minutes.
how we're doing
Just be
things.
quick about it. Yes, sir.
Okay. We just finished a store similar to this one in Forney. It's a beautiful building, and it's kept clean, nice, everything. And the owners of these convenience stores that we're building keep it clean. There won't be trash or anything like that. And we will certainly comply with any ordinance, any state law that requires distance to distance of alcohol. We're not going to try to bypass the laws. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Sir, I'll give you another 1 minute. That's it. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Faisal Rahman. I'm the owner for this land, and I built a lot of gas stations, convenience store in different places. I just finished one in Forney on 548 and Windmill Boulevard right across. So we do very beautiful job. And when I bought this particular land, I was told by the owner that, you know, there might be some issue, you know, and all that, but which I'm well familiar of. But we can, I can, like, you know, personally guarantee you there will be nothing like that. We build a very clean store. It's going to be like a drive-through. Everybody will drive through. And there, this land is right next to the 148. This is no way, it's not a zoning, you know, residential. It is right now, but it will be in a commercial down the road anyway, because it has a very adjacent to the 148. So all the commercials are on the way back. There's a big traffic there. There is a store way back, 4 miles, and then there is recently one land that's been go to the neighborhood services, like 1 or 2 blocks down. They made that neighborhood services, but they are not doing anything. They just put it like raising the value. But we are going to build it. We have the plan. I'm build it within a month. And any kind of issues or concerns with the residents, we will do whatever needed to be done.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you, sir.
That's all I want to say, sir.
Appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I'm now closing the public hearing. Moving on to action item 6.2. We're going to discuss and consider ordinance 2985, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, amending Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell by changing the zoning classification of certain real property, more particularly described as Lot 1 and 2, Block 1, Drewberry, 4th Edition, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, as shown on the plat attached here as Exhibit A and made a part hereof for all purposes from single-family SF6 to neighborhood services, NS, providing for the repeal of conflict ordinance, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Chairman, Commissioners, I will just reiterate that the ordinance before you is simply for the zone change. So we're going from single-family to neighborhood services. I will also point out with the comments made, for, just as an example, Ms. Katie, if you'll go to page 25 of the packet, this is in page from the zoning ordinance of the use charts that we have. So if you look in that second column under NS, that's going to be your neighborhood services. So everything that's going to be P is going to be a permitted use. This is not the full list, it's just one page out of all of them, but you can see some examples going down the list, a dance studio, dry cleaning, any of those kinds of uses are going to be allowed in the neighborhood services use. And so that's just an example of what the zone change of is. Say single family, you can only build a single family residential house on it. Neighborhood services changes to a neighborhood services use, more commercial, but still on that smaller scale, which is what the neighborhood services falls under as well. And I am happy to answer any more questions.
All right, commissioners, you have any questions for staff?
I do. I have questions, and I probably have some observations and comments. Question one, can I get your TIA study? This is a TxDOT road, and so I suspect that you have that. There's a mile per hour, and I don't mean the plan, I want the study. Yes. And, okay, great. I'd like to see that before we do anything. I also, so sometimes things happen in small towns or in towns in general where people work in a vacuum. And so TxDOT has improved this road without thinking about what is around it. And here's what causes me pause. When I look at an older neighborhood, at a neighborhood full of people, and a neighborhood where folks are coming up saying that they want to preserve a neighborhood, and I look at the plan and I see no ability, I see a rail line that's active by a four-way street that's getting widened. I see a right turn only. And then I have no ability to get into that site unless I go much further down and make a U-turn. So it is a limited entry and exit site. And when I'm pulling out of that site, I have to pull across a right turn only lane in order to go anywhere else, 30 feet before a rail line, 50 feet before a major light. And so I struggle with that as a zoning change. And so for me, in order to be able to approve anything, I want to see the traffic analysis that says that's okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Currently, right now, the location is zone local commercial.
No, sir, that is going to be the future land use map. That's what our comprehensive plan calls for as we move towards the future. Currently, it is zoned single-family 7.5, and the request is for a neighborhood services zoning.
Okay, so that I would just throw it in that we have to consider the comp plan for the future. We're already hearing people, they don't want any commercial in here. Future map saying, hey, let's do it commercial. So whether they come here before us or so if they decide to sell the property, the next person is going to want to do the same. So maybe we should really consider our next opportunity to change that. That's just my comment.
Thank
We'll definitely look
Yeah,
into
because
that in
it's
the
not-
comprehensive plan, yes, sir.
Not working for anybody at this point because I get it. Let's preserve the areas that we want to preserve in the communities coming right here before us and letting us know directly. But it's something that has to be considered in the comp plan to prevent that from the future. From happening.
Zoning maps change regularly.
They do.
At one time, we were a rural community, and so we don't know, while we have an overlay, we don't know that that will change back to something different. And so I think if we're going to all make a decision, we need to kind of think through those lenses as well.
Absolutely.
So we voted for this previously back in May.
No, it
and
was
passed
5-2.
It pa-
Did
it
not.
passed.
Yeah, it did.
In
But the
May,
city council turned it down.
It was a 5-2. So to clear that up, the application came to Planning and Zoning in May, on May 23rd, 25th of '23. So we voted on it at P&Z. The applicant wished to withdraw their application, so it actually did not go to city council.
It was withdrawn before it went to city.
That is correct, yes, sir. So the city council has not voted on this item. The applicant wished to withdraw this item, and they stated that they would like to reapply with some more information based on what they got feedback last time at the P&Z, and so now it's coming back to you with some more information. Yes, sir. So it has not gone to city
What
council.
additional information have we received?
The additional
aside from just
information.
this?
That is actually just schematics that I provided so you guys could be clear. The applicant did turn in a new rendering, which is an agenda item 6.3 for the SUP. If you look in your packet, it is on page 33 and 34. We requested that they give us updated renderings, realistic renderings based on the feedback that you guys provided last time. As well, on page 32, they have an updated site plan showing a little bit more detail of their previous site plan that they had submitted back in May. Those were from request from the director, making sure that he was taking the feedback from you and providing some more information, since this is a application that's coming back to you again.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that there was additional information because I hadn't seen it at that point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So just to clarify, so what we approved, did it also include the gas station aspect, the sale of fuels, or just the C-store?
No, sir. So if you will turn back in your packet on page 25 of your packet, at the bottom, the third and fourth from the bottom, those lines, you'll see that they are convenience store with gas sales, as well as convenience store without gas sales. So under the neighborhood services, without gas sale is an allowed use by right, and with gasoline sales, it requires an SUP. So that's kind of why this item is a little bit weird, and it does have to come to you as a zone change as well as an SUP. The applicant did choose to do two at one time, and that's why they are back to back. So it's two separate votes. So ideally, if you change the zoning to a neighborhood services, any of the neighborhood services use that is in the zoning ordinance would be allowed there. It's not just for the gas station. It is up to the actual owner, developer, whoever it is, to comply with the zoning ordinance and make sure it moves forward. But that, by approving this, that is what you're basically doing, is allowing any neighborhood services use. The specific use permit is going to be a separate use for that gas station, which will also need to be approved as well.
Okay,
So they're kind of together, kind of separate. It's just, it's fun.
okay.
Okay, well, thank you, ma'am. Well, keep in mind, gentlemen and ladies, for future, I mean, what the city wants to do with that in the future, whether, all we're doing right now is voting for the zone change, okay? It doesn't have to be convenience store or whatever. All we're doing, just to give future applicants an opportunity to do something else here. And I understand, you know, some of the others here and the concerns of the traffic. Either which way, whether we go any route in regards to the NS there, you know, there's a potential for that. So it doesn't have to be just, keep in mind, just because of the convenience store. Okay?
Again.
Yes, ma'am.
I had concerns in May when this was brought before us. I still have concerns. I live South Terrell. I know that a lot of these store owners come with good intentions and make all these promises, but those promises are not kept. Parking lots are greasy. It's just ridiculous, and it's not being maintained. I mean, yes, they'll start out, and that's what anything new starts out. So my concerns are not about the traffic. It's about, that just does not fit that community. That's a single-family area. It's next to a church. It just should not be there at all. And it's just not big enough for a postage stamp. I mean, every time I look at it, I see this big, beautiful building here. That building is not, I mean, it may fit on that lot, but then where everybody's gonna park? I mean, it's just not for our neighborhood. It should be placed somewhere else. We are tired of people putting stores in our neighborhood and not maintaining them. And I don't agree with this, and I didn't agree with it in May, and I still don't agree with it in October. So I don't need a traffic study. I'm gonna stick with what I said. It's single family, and it should stay single family. And yes, it's near a railroad track. All those other houses are too. So if we do a quiet zone, maybe somebody will build there eventually. So that's how I feel about it.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
So can I ask the applicant a question? Nobody else has anything?
Go ahead, ma'am.
When I look at the plans, the schematics, it's not really a plan, but the schematics, you know, I hear you say that you want to pay attention to the neighbors, but when I look at the plan, it's very obvious to me that the back of the building faces somebody's home. So what does that building actually look like from their home? That's, would you want that by your home?
There will be a fence between the property
Ain't gone.
What kind of fence? That won't hide a 16-foot to 20-foot tall cinder block building. And I'm just, but I just want to ask that, like, was there any thought to the people that you were building around in terms of what that building felt like from their vantage point?
Can you allow me to respond to your first question
Yeah.
about the traffic? It would be even better for the traffic. If you go there, let me explain, you know. I myself is an architect, you know, I did the study. I went there End Street is like dead street. Nobody goes there. There is no one goes on the West End Street. They all take the other street block out. So what I'm trying to say, once we have the West End Street would be a street that would be functional.
Okay, well, thank,
And we can maintain that street if we need it.
all right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, we can maintain that.
All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Two things. One is that we're not talking about the convenience store and gas station right now. We're just talking about
The zone change.
Correct.
The zone
That's correct.
change. Yes, ma'am.
And second thing is that I was a business owner here in town, across from the convenience store. And the convenience store is in very bad shape. The parking lots look crazy. There's a lot of drug dealing going on there. And there are shady characters. We have a really nice building across the street, and there were shady characters walking through our business all the time. And so I'm a bit concerned about the upkeep in the neighborhood, because I think that that convenience store in our neighborhood is an eyesore. And I don't let my daughter go down that street because I don't know who's gonna be there. So she doesn't even go onto Johnson. She stays on Third Street, and that's it, and don't go close.
That's what we're gonna change.
That's okay, sir. I appreciate it. We're having discussion up here. Thank you. Thank you.
So, those are my comments.
Thank you,
about
ma'am.
it. And
Any other commissioners have any other comments? Any other questions for staff in regards to this? Now, keep in mind, before we make the votes, we're doing for zoning, okay? Not a convenience store, a list of, that staff just showed us. Okay?
Well,
Any other,
can I have a question for staff? Did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
get a traffic study?
As far to my knowledge, no plans have been submitted or been done on this actual piece of property because the owner does, or the applicant has not made it that far yet. They still have to go through the zoning and they still have to go through the SUP. Once they reach that point, then at that point, we will review and make sure that everything is up to point. But no, ma'am, we have not gotten anything yet.
Do you have any traffic study coming from the state in regards to this area? Let's say this railroad crossing area?
I do know with the improvements that they are making, that there is a traffic study. The engineering department has vetted that, has gone through everything. I am 100% sure that if it's available, if you would like to see it, we can reach out to Mr. Snap and Jeremy, our project engineer. They'll be happy to provide that for you, but everything that is moving forward has been vetted by staff. Yes, sir.
But because what's great about that, though, is the traffic study with a widening road, there's going to be more cars on that road. Like, that's the point of widening it. And so, and typically TxDOT, when you have roadways that have certain mile per hours, they have requirements about decel lanes and distances and curb cuts and all of those things based on the type of road that it is.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's what I would love to see is how that works next to a rail line, next to a residential neighborhood, and what that data looks like, given that it is widening significantly, it looks like.
Yes, ma'am. And anything new, we'll have to go through the vetting process and we'll have to be going through. Yes, ma'am.
anything else for staff? Keep in mind, in regards to the zone change, do I hear a motion on the floor?
Again, I make a motion that we deny the request to change this zoning from a neighborhood, single family to a neighborhood services.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm sorry. All those in favor to approve this, say aye.
No.
To approve, ma'am, to approve.
Well, the motion.
Chairman.
Deny.
The motion,
Yes.
Motion was to deny, I'm sorry, I apologize. Motion to deny this, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor? Okay, this motion is denied.
Chairman, could I have you just take that vote by hand so I can
Yes,
make sure I
ma'am.
have a
We
proper
can.
count, please? Thank you.
Okay, all those not in favor of this, raise your hand. We have 4 or 5. Okay. All those not in favor of this, please raise your hand. Okay, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. With that being denied, ma'am, do you still want to go over the 6.3 on the SUP?
Yes, sir. So we will go over the agenda item. I will also ask for a vote because this still does have to go to city council per rules. And so that way we have both in hand, and that way they can consider how P and Z voted, took into consideration, and then they will be able to vote on it as well.
Okay. So we still need to have a public hearing in regards to that one, or just want to vote for the?
We will still need to move to item 6.3, hold a public hearing, and then vote on the ordinance that follows.
Okay, we will conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding a request for a special use permit to allow the use of a convenience store with gas pump storefront. The property is located at the southeast corner of FM 148 and West End Street, Lot 2, Part 1A, Block 1 on .361 acres, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, SUP 23-08.
Chairman, Commissioners, before you, we have a request for a specific use permit to allow the use of a convenience store with gas pump storefront. This property is located on the southeast corner of 148 West End, same property we were just discussing. The applicant has come forward wanting to show interest that they would like to put a convenience store as well as the pumps. By definition, a convenience store with the gasoline sales is allowed in retail, highway corridor, commercial, and light industrial, and is only allowed by specific use permit, by special use permit in a neighborhood services zoned area. That is why it's before you today. A convenience store without gasoline sales is going to be allowed in neighborhood services, retail, highway corridor, commercial, and light industrial, and is only allowed with an SUP in central business district and downtown district. The definition by the zoning ordinance is a retail establishment selling food for off-premises consumption and a limited selection of groceries and sun-dried. This does not include or offer any automobile repair services. Staff did send out 5 letters. No letters have been received opposing or in favor of the zone change. And if we look on your page 24 of the packet, you'll see that the comprehensive plan designates this property as local commercial. And per the applicant's request to come forward with the gasoline sales, they have submitted a site plan, which is on your page 32, which we went over earlier. You'll see the site plan on your screen there. Again, this is not final, this is just something so you have an idea of what they have going on. They will still need to go through the full permitting process before we will move forward with any kind of permit in order to go vertical. On page 33 of your packet, the applicant has submitted a rendering similar to what they plan to build. Again, this is not final, this is just something that they wanted to present to you guys. We also requested on page 34 of your packet that they give you a visual of what you would see on FM 148 if you were standing in the middle of the street or in your car preferably, and that was the visual that you would see. So they are going to be installing pumps, the gas station back there with the parking, as well as some landscaping on the front. And I will be happy to answer any questions after the public hearing.
Thank you, ma'am. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here in favor of the SUP 23-08? State your name, please, again,
My
sir.
name is Val Gutierrez.
Thanks, sir.
My residence is 1524 Timber Ridge Drive, Rockwall. And again, we are very excited about doing this, and we feel that this location will actually benefit the neighborhood instead of hinder it. We feel like those that live in that area need a place to gas up, need a place to buy groceries and stuff like that. But it will be a nice place. It will be kept well. And we will fence it. We'll do whatever you desire that we do to allow us to do this construction. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. We have anyone else that wants to speak in favor of this? Nope. Okay. Thank you. Do we have anyone else wants to speak not in favor of this? Yes, ma'am.
church in the neighborhood. I just want to add a couple things, something to what Commissioner Cabrera said about future use of this property. I will say that, especially with the coming of the quiet zones, I myself have lived at 119 Mellon Street with my parents since sixth grade, seventh grade. And I can tell you, I don't even hear a train. I don't even hear a train. I now live at 121 next door to my parents. Well, that's my property I own. I live with my mom. It's still at 119 now. But we don't hear, I don't ever notice a train. I have people that when I'm on the phone, they say, oh, you have a train? I'm like, what train? Because you just become blind to the train. You don't hear it, so it's not a problem. And now with having, and my other church members can tell you, we have church on Sunday. The train, is non-factor for us. But with the coming of a gas station, not to dispute that the gentleman, what they've said, a nice building and everything, but like I said, it's not what they will be doing, but they can't control what the people do that come to that gas station. For instance, the traffic, the loud boom, boom noises that will be coming from cars that will be there while we're trying to have church, and all those things, the gas fumes that will be coming from there. It's just going to put the unwanted element in our community that we don't want. And on top of that, for future, we've just had, as I said, 2 brand-new homes that have been added there, because it's residential, 2 brand-new nice homes in our community, which improves our property value. And the hopes is we'll have some more new homes that will come up if it's residential, and we have a quiet zone. So now they don't have to be disturbed by the railroad train. So there's a lot of positives that can happen for our community in there. As far as needing gas stations, we have the Exxon that's right down the road there by Buc-ee's and all that if we need to go for convenience. And we have Walmart right across the street. I walked over a lot of times. I mean, we're that close that we don't have to have something right in our backyard. Okay, so I was just speaking on behalf of our community and our neighborhood. We have older, elderly people, and we have a lot of children riding their bicycles and playing, and in those vacant lots playing football and different things and stuff. We just don't need the unwanted element in our neighborhood
Thank you, ma'am.
that the gas station would bring.
Thank you, miss. Okay, do we have anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I live in 122 Mellon Street. I have concerns because I have my grandchildren that has asthma real bad. And gas fumes mixed with asthma will not mix. We have problems now with them. Can't hardly go outside and play when the weather change because of the asthma. They have allergies real bad. Then I have 3 that's on CPAP machines. You just think you open the door, fumes from a gas station on the next street coming in, they gotta inhale it. No.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time. Okay, we have anyone else? Yes, sir. Please state your name and your address, please, sir, again.
Excuse me.
Oh, you're good.
Daniel Holmes. I live at 910 Wood Street. I serve as pastor at 1018 West End Street, and I'm not in favor of this for several reasons. First of all, from where they're planning the service station or convenience store, I believe there's going to be one side facing West End Street. If you go east, you're going to run into a Y that's Touty Road, and then you proceed. I used to own a lot there, and any time during the week, you can go out and pick up trash, beer cans, you name it. It became a safety issue because when they would leave from 148 coming down west and going east toward the church, they would run the stop sign. They have had to have police officers to park on our church lot to observe it, to see who was running the stop sign. So that's a safety concern. And then also sometimes you get music, the loud music. So if you put a convenience store, or if it's allowed to put a convenience store from that area, it's kind of like a straight shot. There's a little boat in the road, but I have seen people driving 40 miles an hour and faster run right through that stop sign as though it's not there. So it's definitely a safety concern there. Even though the individuals driving from Tallahassee stop at the stop sign, but there are those who will continue to go forward and they run right through the stop sign. So to me, it's definitely a safety issue that I would be concerned about. So I've gone during the week, sometime on weekends, sometime Mondays, and on our church campus, on the, in the front of it, it's beer cans, paper, you name it. And so before we can mow, we had to pick that up. And you're like, why would someone throw beer cans, bottles on a church campus? I mean, it's just not a good idea to do that.
Thank you, sir.
All
Appreciate your
right,
time.
thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that wants to speak not in favor of this? No? Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Okay, we're gonna go to item 6.4, discuss and consider ordinance 2984. An ordinance of the City of Council of City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, granting a special use permit under the provision of 31B Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell to Val Gutierrez, allowing an exception to the provision of Section 25 Appendix 2 zoning ordinance of the City of Terrell for certain property located at the corner of West End Street and FM 148. The same also being known as Lot 1 and 2, Block 1, Drew Berry's, 4th Edition, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas, by permitting a convenience store within the gas pumps on said currently zoned as Neighborhood Services, NS, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for servability, and providing an effective date.
Chairman, Commissioners, I am happy to answer any further questions that you guys have regarding this specific use permit.
Can you confirm that we denied this the last time it came before on the May meeting we had?
On May 25th, 2023, P and Z voted to deny by a 7-0 vote.
Thank you.
Now, just to say on the SUP, I do agree with the commissioners in regards to a gas station, that I do not agree with that. I think that does cause more traffic, more than would be just a convenience store. So that I do agree with you guys in regards to that, so just kind of keep that in mind. Any other questions for staff, or do you guys have any?
I did have a question.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember, last time I asked if we would move forward with allowing them a C-store, would that stop the applicant from developing the property? Obviously, my question in regards to that was, if no gas sales are allowed, is the applicant okay with that? Is he willing to move forward even without the gas sales? I think that was my main question.
Yes,
We had nobody to ask.
I do
well,
remember that. The applicant wasn't present last time, so if you would like to answer that, I'm happy to let you answer.
We would continue without the gas.
Without the gas sales?
Gas.
You guys will be okay without the gas sales?
We prefer the gas pumps, but if nothing else, we will do this convenience store.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other questions for staff, commissioners? Do I have a motion on the floor for item 6.4, SUP 23-08?
I move to deny item 6.4.
I have a motion to deny. Do I hear another motion? Do I have a second? I have a second to deny. All those in favor of denying action 6.4, SUP 23-08, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion denied.
Chairman, if I can have you do that by hand again, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am. All those in favor of denying this, please raise your hand. Okay. Thank you. All those not in favor of this, please raise your hand. Thank you. To deny, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Motion's been denied. Okay. We're going over to action item 7.1, discuss and consider a final plat for Crossroads at Terrell Phase 4A, being 5 lots consisting of 21.649 acres and right-of-way dedication consisting of 2.753 acres out of the John C. Hill Survey Abstract 202, City of Terrell, Kaufman County, Texas. FP 23-24. Staff, please.
Chairman, Commissioners, I apologize, I was just making sure I got all the names on the sign-in sheet so I can accurately put the minutes in for next week. Before you, we have a Crossroads at Terrell Phase 4A final plat. If you'll look in your agenda on page 38, that is going to be the property we're talking about. So this property is going to be what is now Sage Hill Road on the southern portion of it. The top is going to be, of the red, is going to be where Crossroads will extend and go out west. The top portion that you see there has come before you for a plan development for apartment complexes that was approved a couple of months ago. They are in the process of moving forward. They're coming back now in order to plot this out, subdivide it. Also, Independence Parkway is going to be going north to south. It will tie into, what is that road called? My mind just went blank. It will tie into Independence Parkway, that's what it's called. It will tie into Independence Parkway, and the southern portion, there is nothing set in stone for that one yet, to my knowledge. This area is zoned retail. In your packet, you can see a little bit better on page 40. Right there, that's going to be the area that is going to be apartments. They are planning this out in order for them to have one piece of property. There is that little squiggly line that you see there at the top. That is going to be open space, which is a wetland area that they are included in this plat. And on the next page in your packet, you'll see that southern portion being plotted out into different parcels. Each lot is going to be different acreages, but everything is compliant with what we have. So staff does recommend approval of the final plat for Crossroads, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for staff? This is just the final plat, so there.
Yes, sir.
They have already done their homework. It's the final plat.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. They are subdividing the area, making sure the property is going where it needs to be. Development will follow. It's currently a vacant piece of property.
I know, but what's it zoned exactly today before we do all of this?
Today, this parcel is zoned planned development. There's a planned development multifamily on it.
Yeah, we're not changing the zone.
Correct.
We're not changing the
Yeah, so
zoning on
we're
it.
just approving a plat.
A plat.
Yes, ma'am. It is just a final plat.
Yeah, just the final.
That was just for reference, so you kind of know the area that we're talking about.
Do we ever do final plats that show site plans?
No, ma'am. That just shows the legal meets and bounds of the property in order to file at Kaufman County to have the plat moving forward.
Any other questions for staff? Do I hear a motion for action item 7.1, FP 23-24?
Move to approve item 7.1 as presented.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second to approve action item 7.1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion approved. Okay, that's it for the evening. I appreciate you gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen for coming in. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I know y'all have this date already, but the next P and Z meeting is on, I'm not gonna make you come in on Thanksgiving, so it'll be the week before. So the third week next week, and I'll send out an email to the line. Thank you. Okay?
Awesome.
Thank you, y'all have a good night.
You too. You enjoy your vacation?
Yes, sir. Yes, I did.
Great.